let's talk about something every single driver dreads. You're on the highway and you hear that awful crack sound. Your heart sinks, and the first question that pops into your head is my windshield covered by insurance? Well, we're going to dive in and get you that answer.
Oh, we've all been there, right? You're just cruising along, minding your own business, and then bam! A rock gets kicked up from the truck in front of you and smacks right into your glass. That sudden, sickening thwack, followed by the sight of that brand new, infuriating little chip or crack. And immediately your mind starts racing. What do I do now, and what on earth is this going to cost me?
Okay, so let's really look at this problem. That little starburst pattern staring back at you, it's actually a much bigger deal than just being annoying to look at. You know, it's so easy to think of your windshield as just, a window, a piece of glass to keep the wind and rain out. But it's so much more than that. It's a critical piece of your car's safety structure. It literally helps support the roof. So when you get a chip, that's a weak spot. And with temperature changes, a hot day, or a frosty morning, that tiny chip can spiderweb into a massive crack in the blink of an eye. And that seriously compromises the safety of your vehicle. Ignoring it, that's a risk you just don't want to take.
So what's the fix? How do you handle this without draining your wallet? Well, believe it or not, the answer is probably already sitting in your glove box, tucked away inside your insurance policy.
Okay, the magic word here is comprehensive coverage. This is the part of your policy that handles all the weird stuff, the things that aren't a collision with another car but still damage your vehicle. We're talking hail, a tree branch falling on your hood, or, you guessed it, that random rock that flew up on the highway. It falls squarely under comprehensive.
And this is super important to get right. Your standard liability or your collision coverage, they won't touch this unless the glass broke during an actual car accident. For a random rock chip, comprehensive coverage is the only game in town. So step one for you is to pull out your policy and make sure you have it. All right, let's get down to the brass tacks. Let's talk about the money. What is this actually going to cost you out of pocket? The answer? Well, it might just surprise you. And this is the part that sounds almost too good to be true. For a small chip, most insurance companies will waive your deductible completely. That means it costs you $0, nothing. Why would they do that? Well, think about it. It's way cheaper for them to pay a few bucks to fix a tiny chip right now than it is to pay hundreds or even thousands for a full windshield replacement later on. So you get it fixed for free, they save a ton of money down the road. It is a total win-win.
Let's just walk through the numbers here so it makes perfect sense. First scenario, a small chip repair. Your deductible is $0. Filing a claim is an absolute no-brainer. But now look at a standard windshield replacement. Let's say it costs $400, but your deductible is $500. Well, in that case, it just makes more sense to pay for it yourself. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Modern cars have all these advanced safety systems, or ADAS, with cameras in the windshield. A replacement for one of those can be over $1,000 because of all the recalibration needed. In that case, paying your $500 deductible and letting insurance cover the rest is absolutely the right move.
Okay, so you've decided to file. You're probably picturing mountains of paperwork, waiting on hold for hours. A huge hassle, right? Well, good news. The process is actually incredibly simple.
Seriously, it boils down to just 3 super simple steps. First, report the damage. A quick phone call or just a few taps in your insurer's app is usually all it takes. Second, you get to choose the repair shop. Now, your insurance company might suggest someone, but legally you have the right to pick any qualified shop you trust. And third, and this is the best part, you just let the shop handle it. They do all the heavy lifting. They'll verify your coverage and deal with the insurance company directly. It's that easy. All right, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. The one thing that stops almost everyone from making that call. You're thinking, yeah, but will this make my rates go up? And here's the answer loud and clear. Because a rock hitting your windshield is considered a no-fault claim, it wasn't your fault, there was nothing you could do to avoid it, these comprehensive claims typically do not affect your insurance premiums. This is probably the biggest myth out there, and just knowing this fact can save you a ton of money and a whole lot of stress.
So when you step back and look at it, the benefits are just huge. You get the damage fixed right away, stopping a bigger crack in its tracks. You know the work is being done by qualified pros, using high-quality materials, and it's all backed by a warranty. But honestly, the most important thing? You're simply using a benefit that you already pay for, month after month.
So really, it all boils down to one simple question. We've established that a tiny chip is a real safety issue, and we know that getting it fixed through your insurance is often free, it's easy, and it probably won't raise your rates. Knowing all of that, is your safety really worth the wait? My advice?
Check your policy, make the call, and stay safe out there.